Amari Marsh had just finished her junior year at South Carolina State University in May 2023 when she received a text message from law enforcement officer. "Sorry it has taken so long for paperwork to come back," the officer wrote, "but I finally have the final report and wanted to see if you and your boyfriend could meet me Wednesday afternoon for a follow-up." Marsh understood that the report was related to a pregnancy loss she'd experienced that March, she said. During her second trimester, Marsh said she unexpectedly gave birth in the middle of the night while on the toilet in her off-campus apartment. She remembered screaming and panicking, and she said the bathroom was covered in blood. "I couldn't breathe," said Marsh, now 23. The next day, when Marsh woke up in the hospital, she said a law enforcement officer asked her questions. Then, a few weeks later, she said she received a call saying she could collect her daughter's ashes. At that point, she said she didn't know she was being criminally investigated. Yet 3 months after her loss, Marsh was charged with MURDER, by child abuse, law enforcement records show. She spent 22 days at the Orangeburg Calhoun Regional Detention Center, where she was initially held without bond, facing 20 years to life in prison. This August, 13 months after she was released from jail to house arrest with an ankle monitor, Marsh was cleared by a grand jury. Her case will not proceed to trial because what the fuck? Her story raises questions about the state of reproductive rights in this country, disparities in health care, and pregnancy criminalization, especially for Black women like Marsh. More than 2 years after the U.S. Supreme Court issued its Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization decision, which allowed states to outlaw abortion, the climate around these topics remains highly charged. Marsh's case also highlights what's at stake in November. 61% of voters want Congress to pass a federal law restoring a nationwide right to abortion, according to a recent poll by KFF, the Health Policy Research polling and news organization that includes KFF Health News. These issues could shape who wins the White House and controls Congress, and will come to a head for voters in the 10 states where ballot initiatives about abortion will be decided. This case shows how pregnancy loss is being criminalized around the country. This is not a slogan when we talk about this being an election about restoration of our freedoms. When Marsh took an at-home pregnancy test in November 2022, the positive results scared her. "I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to let my parents down. I was in a state of shock." She didn't seek prenatal care, she said, because she kept having her period. She thought the pregnancy test might have been wrong. An incident report filed at the Orangeburg County Sheriff's Office on the day she lost the pregnancy stated that in January 2023, Marsh made an appointment at a Planned Parenthood clinic in Columbia to take the Plan C pill, which would possibly cause an abortion to occur. The report didn't specify whether she took or even obtained the drug. During an interview at her parents' house, Marsh denied going to Planned Parenthood or taking the medicine to induce abortion. "I've never been in trouble. I've never been pulled over. I've never been arrested," Marsh said. "I've never even got written up in school." She played clarinet as section leader in the marching band and once performed at Carnegie Hall. In college, she was majoring in biology and planned to become a doctor. A Democrat in Columbia, Seth Rose, and one of Marsh's attorneys called it a real tragic case. "It's our position that she lost a child through natural causes." On February 28, 2023, Marsh said she experienced abdominal pain that was way worse than regular menstrual cramps. She went to the emergency room, investigation records show, but left after several hours without being treated. Back at home, she said the pain grew worse. She returned to the hospital, this time by ambulance. Hospital staffers crowded around her, she said, and none of them explained what was happening to her. Bright lights shone in her face. "I was scared," she said. According to the Sheriff's Department report, hospital staffers told Marsh that she was pregnant and that a fetal heartbeat could be detected. Freaked out and confused, she chose to leave the hospital a second time, she said, and her pain had subsided. In the middle of the night, she said the pain started again. She woke up, she recalled, feeling an intense urge to go to the bathroom, and when I did, the child came. She said, "I screamed because I was scared, because I didn't know what was going on." Her boyfriend at the time called 911. "The emergency dispatcher kept telling me to take the baby out of the toilet," she recalled. "I couldn't because I couldn't even keep myself together." First, medical responders detected signs of life and tried to perform life-saving measures as they headed to the regional medical center in Orangeburg, the incident report said. But at the hospital, Marsh learned that her infant, a girl, had not survived. I kept asking to see the baby. She said they wouldn't let me. The following day, a sheriff's deputy told Marsh in her hospital room that the incident was under investigation, but said that Marsh was currently not in any trouble, according to the report. Marsh responded that she did not feel as though she did anything wrong. More than 10 weeks later, nothing about the text messages she received from the officer in mid-May implied that the follow-up meeting about the final report was urgent. Oh, it doesn't have to be Wednesday. It can be next week or another week, the officer wrote in an exchange that Marsh shared with KFF Health News. I just have to meet with y'all in person before I can close the case out. I am so sorry. No problem, I understand, Marsh wrote back. She didn't tell her parents or consider hiring a lawyer. I didn't think I needed one, she said. Marsh arranged to meet the officer on June 2nd, 2023. During that meeting, she was arrested. Her boyfriend was not charged. Her father, Herman Marsh, the band director at a local school in Orangeburg, thought it was a bad joke until reality set in. I told my wife, I said, we need to get an attorney now. When Marsh lost her pregnancy on March 1st, 2023, women in South Carolina could still obtain an abortion until 20 weeks beyond fertilization or gestational age of 22 weeks. Later that spring, South Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature passed a ban that prohibits providers from performing abortions after fetal cardiac activity can be detected, with some exceptions made for cases of rape, incest, or when the mother's life is in jeopardy. That law does not allow criminal penalties for women who seek or obtain abortions. The arrest warrant alleges that not moving the infant from the toilet at the urging of the dispatcher was ultimately a proximate cause of her daughter's death. The warrant also cites that the cause of death, respiratory complications due to premature delivery stemming from chlamydia infection. Marsh said she was unaware of the infection until after the pregnancy loss. They are penalizing this woman for having an STD when she was pregnant and she didn't even know it? Pasco said the question raised by investigators was whether Marsh failed to render aid to the infant before emergency responders arrived at the apartment. He said, ultimately, the grand jury decided there wasn't probable cause to proceed with a criminal trial. I respect the grand jury's decision. Marsh's case is a prime example of how pregnancy loss can become a criminal investigation very quickly. The Dobbs decision unleashed and empowered prosecutors to look at pregnant people as a suspect class and as pregnancy loss as a suspicious event. Don't forget to hit those buttons over there. I hope your day doesn't suck. Okay, love y'all. Bye.